Let us now move to another important area in teaching aptitude: direct and indirect teaching. Teaching is a demanding and complex task, and every teacher faces one major challenge: deciding how to teach the content. One common way of classifying teaching styles is by dividing them into direct teaching and indirect teaching. Both approaches are used in classrooms, but they differ significantly in terms of teacher role, learner participation, and learning outcomes. We begin with direct teaching, also known as direct instruction. In this approach, the teacher uses explicit and structured methods to teach a specific skill or concept. Teaching is largely teacher-directed, where the teacher stands at the front of the class and presents information in a clear and organized manner. The lesson is carefully planned, and the teacher matches the instruction closely to the task so that students can understand the topic effectively. Direct teaching follows a strict lesson plan with limited flexibility, and it usually does not include activities like discussions, workshops, or case studies. Because of the structured nature, critics often argue that direct instruction leaves little room for personalization or adaptability. In direct teaching, the process usually begins by introducing new material in a way that activates students' prior knowledge. The teacher then provides clear explanations and relevant examples, guiding learners step by step through the new content. One of the strengths of this approach is that teachers can identify and correct mistakes early and revise material immediately if students struggle. Regular recapitulation and review help reinforce learning, while guided practice allows students to apply what they have learned. Feedback plays a crucial role here, as teachers continuously inform students about their performance. Eventually, students practice skills independently and are evaluated through tests or assessments to measure what they have learned. This method is particularly effective when accuracy, clarity, and structured learning are required. In contrast, indirect teaching or indirect instruction places students at the center of the learning process. Instead of directly delivering information, teachers act as facilitators, supporters, or guides. Learning occurs through observing, investigating, questioning, and drawing inferences from data. Students rely on their own experiences and curiosity to make sense of the content, often working in small groups. Indirect learning takes place when learners construct meaning by transforming stimulus material into new responses or behaviors that differ from both the content presented and their previous understanding. Indirect instruction is especially effective when teaching abstract concepts, patterns, or ideas that require deeper thinking. It is commonly used in inquiry-based learning, where students explore problems and discover solutions rather than being told answers directly. As a result, learning becomes a process of discovery, and the learning context is usually problem-centered. In this approach, students are active participants while the teacher facilitates learning rather than controlling it. Methods such as discovery, learning, and cooperative learning are typical examples of indirect instruction. From a cognitive perspective, indirect teaching aligns closely with the higher levels of Bloom's taxonomy, particularly analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. The learning process involves organizing content, using inductive and deductive reasoning, examining examples and non-examples, drawing upon students' experiences, asking meaningful questions, engaging in group discussions, and encouraging self-evaluation. Through inquiry, problem-solving, and decision-making, students develop higher-order thinking skills. When learners connect new ideas with their own experiences, they gain deeper insight into the subject matter, making learning more meaningful and long-lasting. Let us now examine the characteristics of teaching, an area that helps us understand what makes teaching effective and meaningful. Teachers carry the most significant responsibility when it comes to the quality of education. Teaching demands commitment, educational leadership, and the ability to convey knowledge in ways that learners can truly understand and internalize. However, subject knowledge alone is not enough. For teaching to be successful, teachers must also understand students' needs, their thinking patterns, and their levels of attention. Maintaining student engagement in the classroom is just as important as delivering content. Teaching does not function in isolation. It is deeply influenced by the quality of the institution, its organization, and the support provided by the staff. Ultimately, however, the heart of teaching lies in the teacher-student relationship. Cooperation between teachers and students, both inside and outside the classroom, determines how effectively learning takes place. These interconnected factors together define the quality of teaching and help achieve meaningful education. Research in education has identified several characteristics of good teaching. Effective teachers share their enthusiasm for the subject and actively involve students through discussions and teamwork. They stimulate interest, create a positive and supportive learning environment, and engage students at their level of understanding. Clear communication plays a crucial role as teachers must adapt their teaching style to suit diverse learner needs. Lessons are presented clearly and in an age-appropriate manner so that students understand not only what they are learning but also why it matters. Good teaching also involves showing respect and concern for students, encouraging them to become independent learners, and being flexible enough to improvise when situations change. Effective teachers select suitable teaching methods and academic tasks, promote responsibility and cooperation among learners, and use valid and meaningful assessment strategies. They motivate students to solve problems independently, address misconceptions clearly, and treat the development of critical thinking as a central objective. Teaching integrates knowledge, skills, and attitudes, and it relies heavily on constructive feedback. Mutual respect between teachers and students strengthens learning, and reflective teachers also learn from their students to improve their own teaching practices. To understand teaching more clearly, we must now focus on the basic requirements of teaching. Teaching involves guiding students at different stages of education, from elementary school to university, so that learning becomes possible. A teacher must understand what students need to learn and how they learn best. Wherever teaching takes place, 4 essential elements must be present: the teacher, the learner, the subject, and the environment. Without these components, teaching cannot occur. The first and most central element is the teacher. The teacher acts as a creator and transmitter of knowledge, values, and social norms. Through teaching, the teacher contributes to the physical, mental, emotional, and social development of learners. Teachers play a decisive role in shaping what learners understand as right and wrong in society. Effective communication is essential, as teachers use language and interaction to bring positive behavioral change in students. In today's world, where science and technology dominate, teachers must also be well versed in modern tools and media and integrate them into teaching to make learning more effective and relevant. The second essential element is the learner. Learners, especially at early stages, are dependent and require guidance from teachers. Successful learning depends on cooperation between the teacher and the learner. Students must follow instructions, remain attentive, and actively participate in the learning process. Depending on age and educational level, learners may range from primary school children to university students, and teaching strategies must adjust accordingly. The third element is the subject or topic, which forms the core of the teaching learning process. While teachers usually decide the subject matter, learners may also participate in selecting topics to ensure balanced development. Teachers are responsible for organizing content and preparing teaching aids such as charts, maps, models, and digital tools. The use of technology and scientific aids makes subjects more engaging and easier to understand, especially for complex concepts. The fourth requirement is the environment. Teaching can only be effective in an environment that supports learning. The primary aim of teaching is the overall growth of learners, and this requires a safe, encouraging, and inclusive atmosphere. Teachers must create an environment where learners feel nurtured rather than controlled. Earlier views treated children as fixed categories, ignoring the impact of social and cultural factors. Today, it is clearly understood that a learner's development is closely linked to socio-cultural and historical conditions, making the learning environment critically important. Teaching can also be analyzed through variables. The student functions as the dependent variable as changes in learning occur due to the teaching process. The teacher acts as the independent variable, planning, organizing, guiding, and controlling instruction. Between these two lie the intervening variables, which include instructional content, teaching methods, strategies, and the learning environment. These intervening factors ensure effective interaction between teacher and learner and help achieve teaching goals. For teaching to be effective, certain requirements must be fulfilled. All teaching variables must work together within a professional framework. A suitable learning environment, a positive teacher-student relationship, discipline among learners, dedication to learning, and commitment from teachers are all essential. When these conditions are met, teaching becomes purposeful, effective, and transformative. As we come to the end of this section, we can clearly see that teaching is not merely the act of delivering information, but a purposeful, systematic, and social process aimed at bringing positive change in learners. From understanding the nature, concepts, objectives, models, levels, and methods of teaching to examining direct and indirect instruction, teaching emerges as a dynamic interaction between teacher, learner, subject, and environment. Effective teaching adapts to learners' needs, promotes critical and creative thinking, and progresses from memory and understanding to reflective learning. The characteristics of good teaching highlight enthusiasm, communication, adaptability, and respect. While the basic requirements remind us that meaningful teaching depends on competent teachers, motivated learners, well-organized content, and a supportive learning environment. Together, these ideas reinforce that quality education is achieved when teaching is planned professionally, relationships are positive, learning is learner-centered, and both teachers and students remain committed to the teaching-learning process.